What if you took real-life people, recorded them telling real-life stories, and then reenact said stories with these bootleg, ugly, deformed, Muppet creature-looking things? You get Felt Up. Easily the strangest, most bizarre Canadian show ever made, and don't even try to make a case against it. I am borderline ashamed to say I'm from the same place that birthed a creation such as Felt Up. I think I found it, guys. I think I found that one show that's probably gonna get my channel terminated. But I thought it was funny, so it. Let's go for it. I get banned. Hey, it was a good ride and nice knowing you guys. Created by and starring Simon Glassman. Felt Up started as a school project at MacEwan University in Edmonton, Alberta. The bar must have been in hell or lower because after entering and winning a contest at a media festival, the entry was then adapted into a TV show that would air on a few smaller Canadian networks like Bite TV. In October 2013, the short-lived series made its official debut, and I'm not gonna beat around the bush. Felt Up was an awful show, straight up terrible, but it's one of those shows that are so bad you can't help but laugh. The premise is straightforward. Real-life Simon goes around town asking real-life civilians to recall funny, gross, or embarrassing stories. Take that audio and create a visual using hideous puppets. A show would be pretty bare bones if we were to just watch random tales with no connective tissue. So to tie all the weirdness together and break up the monotony, Simon the Puppet and his roommate Joe the Puppet record a vlog. The stories on their own are somewhat interesting, maybe even slightly entertaining. But once you throw puppets in the mix, this becomes a straight-up clown show. Nothing can be taken serious with little discount section Muppets staring you in the eyes. Felt Up is a circus. Anything goes. At moments, I laughed so hard. With it or at it, I'm honestly still uncertain. If I play this audio alone, it may get a chuckle out of you.
I don't know, it was a joke. It was a funny thing I found. And he was just like, what? It was a pretty fucking mean joke. And he got out on his bicycle and biked away.
Now, let's take that same audio and have ugly, moronic looking puppets acted out.
I don't know, it was a joke. It was a funny thing I found. And he was just like, what? It was a pretty fucking mean joke. And he got out on his bicycle and biked away.
Brace yourself and be prepared to hear people relive embarrassing sex stories, hangovers, funny mishaps, random events, and weird encounters. And it's all like R-rated shit. There's no kid-friendly stories. So the dichotomy between the raunchiest moments and the fluffiest stuffed puppets makes for insanity on the screen. In an episode about struggles with technology, a guy tells a virginity story. He was 12 years old and he was messing around with an older girl, 14 years old. They liked each other, so they had planned to go for the home run on the weekend. He got home from school when he heard the phone ringing. He didn't get there on time, so it went to the voicemail. It was one of those old school answering machines with a cassette tape. So while his 14-year-old girlfriend is leaving her message, he frantically tries to intercept the call. He presses random buttons, tries to get the tape to stop as he's there screaming, "Hello, hello, hello!" The call eventually connects, and the two frisky kids discuss how they're gonna do the do, positions, location, etc. They talk about going to a forest near a graveyard to have some wild intercourse. The next day at school, dude waits in anticipation for the 3 p.m. bell to go off. Kids are dismissed for the day, and the two go to a forest, awkwardly foreplay, and then eventually smash. He goes home feeling like the man because he just lost his V-card. He walks in the front door when his mom tells him that his aunt had called. Unfortunately, nobody was home, so it went to the answering machine. And even more unfortunately, the voicemail greeting had been changed.
And the new greeting for the answering machine was me and this girl talking about how we're gonna go have sex tomorrow for the first time and where it was gonna happen and how it was gonna happen.
He was then grounded for a whole year and surely avoided every family reunion for the foreseeable future. Another story reenacts the day a guy's dad lost all hope in his son. He understandably wants to remain anonymous, so let's call him Zach. So it was a few days after Christmas. Zach is a huge fan of bath time. He takes it very seriously. It's good for his mental health and it's fun and relaxing. This is the best bath of the year because he has so much toys and candy left over that he got as gifts. So Zach starts playing with his action figures, making them fight, tying them up with string, using shampoo as a sticky goo trap. He looks over the edge and sees his pile of Christmas candy. The only thing that could take this bath to the next level is a mouthful of diabetes. So he shoves a whole roll of butterscotch candy into his mouth and continues playing. Seconds later, as the candy starts to dissolve, the syrup is too thick and sticky. Pause. So he begins to cough. The coughing makes more candy go down his throat, and now he's full on choking. He's flailing around non-stop and he's coughing uncontrollably. There's a chance he could die in this very tub. All of a sudden, banging on the door. Zach's dad rushed to see what all the noise was about. All he can hear is choking and water splashing. Zach continues to flail around like a dying seal when his dad kicks the door open. Zach keeled over the side of the tub butt-ass naked and uncontrollably vomited up a dozen hard candies all over the floor. You may have think you've seen disappointment before, but you haven't seen disappointment until a father walks in on his 15-year-old son taking a bubble bath, keeled over naked, puking up candy while having a weirdo action figure party.
You were 15 when all this happened?
So?
Simon sits down with a guy named Connor and he tells a story about liars. One day, him and his band pulled up to a gig. They offloaded instruments and speakers from the back of the van. He found a parking spot and attempted to parallel park. While straightening out, he gently tapped the car behind him. You know, one of those love taps. He got out the vehicle to assess the damages and both vehicles were fine. He started to walk off when a sketchy dude appeared from nowhere and said,
"Dude, what the fuck? You just hit my fucking car." I was like, "Oh, I think it's okay. Like, there's no marks or anything. The bumpers look fine."
So Sketchy Man started blaming Connor for damages to the windshield, the wheels, and the roof, which would be technically impossible. So the sketch demanded to see Connor's insurance papers while refusing to show his. The two stood there arguing back and forth when all of a sudden 2 random guys approached the hit vehicle and hop in. Connor and the sketchy dude stopped arguing and froze in their tracks. All of a sudden, the son of a starts snitching and says, "Hey man, this guy just hit your fucking car." The real owner didn't care at all as they quickly drove off. Connor stared in disbelief and said,
"F off, get out of here. F you, man, I'm just trying to capitalize." And then he ran off back into the same alley he came from and disappeared into the night.
Now, things are gonna ramp up a bit, and here's probably where I lose my channel. So a guy named Steven recalls the story of the wildest night of his life. He's at a party and he's on a lot of that white stuff. He ends up meeting a girl who also likes to party. They go to a bedroom and start, you know. While clapping, Steven looks to the right and on the adjacent bed he sees a large, passed out, shirtless Mexican gentleman. He notices a bag of marijuana in the Mexican's pocket. Steven reaches over, puts his hand in the guy's pants, and grabs the baggie. Steven was so out of it, he blacked out. Mid-thrust! It must have been a quick drift off because seconds later he wakes up and the Mexican is staring him dead in the face. So there he is, clapping a chick who might be this guy's wife, hand in a stranger's pocket and eyes locked with said stranger. All out of ideas, Steven just lays the bag on the man's pot belly and says,
"Drop your weed." Just kind of like lay it there for him on his stomach, right?
He continues knocking boots while staring at this random Mexican, staring deep into each other's souls. Eventually, the Mexican passes out again. Steven now wants to go home, but the little hussy insists they continue. She takes him to a nearby washroom and it's clear this girl is a slob. The bathroom is disgusting. Steven needs an exit plan. He calls his friend and makes up a fake story to get him to come pick him up. He says, "Dude, you gotta come pick me up. This girl slipped and hit her head. There's lots of blood everywhere. She's not moving. Please help." The friend shows up in less than 10 minutes and his skin is pale white from fear. Coincidentally, there's sirens in the area, probably a traffic stop or a fire or something totally unrelated with their situation. The whole car ride, Steven remained silent and just stared straight and let his friend think the woman was dead in the house. And if you're wondering how long he let the lie continue before admitting it was a joke,
I think it maybe came up like a 1 year later.
We're about halfway through the series. Yeah, this only lasted 6 episodes, and I think I'm starting to see why. I have no proof for what I'm about to say, but I can almost guarantee my theory as to why the show ended. Some middle-aged woman, likely a Karen, most definitely plopped her kid in front of the TV, went to the kitchen to make a tuna casserole or whatever Karens eat, probably got a phone call from one of her Karen friends, got deep into conversation, then looked up at little Billy watching a TV screen with Elmo's crackhead evil twin whacking off, straight up beating his piece. Oh, no. I'm sure she wouldn't stand for this travesty. She probably wrote a very angry letter and hopped on Twitter immediately, thus ending Felt Up at 6 episodes and canceling the series for good. But we can continue on just to see if there's any redemption. Let's see if Karen was over-exaggerating. This guy named Benjamin tells a story about his struggles with cell phones. He has this bad habit of getting drunk and sending emotional messages to his contacts. He has this online friends with benefits situation going on with this girl named Michelle. They talk dirty to each other on Facebook, then they hook up and bang. Talk dirty, then bang. More dirty, more banging. One night, Ben got drunk and started dirty messaging Michelle. He went on to say, hey, next time we have sex, maybe your body on my body, maybe on top of a mountain like Mount Vesuvius, and there's like a volcano exploding, and while we climax together, we'll ride a wave of lava because I'll put a cloak of fire resistance on us, and we'll make love till birds sing, and we'll reach for the heavens, and we'll sing that song from Aladdin. Oh, it'll be beautiful. That's sadly my best drunk white guy impression, sorry. It's at this point in the story, it's important to note that this girl had the exact same name as Benjamin's mom. The next morning, he woke up to several missed calls and about 15 text messages. 2 days later, Benjamin's mom deleted her Facebook account.
So all of these messages, they ended up going to...
Yeah, I told my mom I wanted to have sex with her on top of a volcano.
A guy named Craig tells a story about the most depressing day of his life. He's a workaholic and he's usually busy with something or someone. He had an hour off, an hour free to just relax and unwind. He decided to treat himself and bought a pizza sub from anywhere but Subway because Subway is disgusting. He went home, sat in bed with his sub sandwich and began to eat, which he admits is sad. And it is. Food in the bed, tomato sauce stains on your sheets, crumbs everywhere. It's just sad and disgusting. He attempts to redeem the day with a hot shower. No matter what's going on in life, a shower always makes you feel better. So now he's having this internal battle. His active brain was saying, get up and shower, while his exhausted body was saying,
F that. You're horizontal. Stay horizontal. Getting up is going to cause nothing but problems for all of us.
Craig hates being naked, so he tries to trick his body. If he gets naked, he'll feel more obligated to get up and go shower. So he rests his sub down on the bed and successfully lifts his shirt up and over his head. He's so lazy, he does that thing with your legs when you kind of kick your pants off, and with your feet, you just kind of shimmy out of them. With his jeans at his ankles and his feet up in the air, he forgot he had change in his pockets. Roughly $20 in coins start to rain down all over his crotch, on his peas, his balls, taint, and asshole. It was as if the money was falling in slow motion. As his dignity slowly dissipated, he could feel each piece of cold, filthy metal rub against his ass as he sits there defenseless with pizza crumbs all over his face. He goes on to say, if an artist captured that moment in a sketch, seeing a picture of a half-naked man with pizza on his face, a sub on the bed, pants in the air, and dozens of coins on his pubic region, that would spark change in anybody and motivate them to do better in life. Speaking of money on the bed, a girl named Cindy taps in to share her story about the worst first date in her life. She and this guy are drinking at a bar until it closes. Then he offers to walk her home, and she accepts. On the walk home, he just keeps repeating, "Ooh, I'm a scientist, huh? I'm a scientist." Every topic, every discussion they had resulting in him saying stuff like, "I know it's more efficient because I'm a scientist, I'm a scientist." They get to his house, and he tells Cindy he wants to show her something in the bathroom. Cindy's curious mind starts wandering. A sexy shower? A massage? No. He pulls out a nasal flush bottle. He tells her he created a solution for his sinus infection and keeps repeating, "I can do this because I'm a scientist. I'm a scientist." He starts rinsing out his nasal passage and all this thick, boogery green water starts pouring out of his nose. His fancy French mustache served as a sort of trap, and all the boogers sat comfortably on the top of his lip. He grabs Cindy and starts making out with her. All she could think was ew, gross, ew, 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 disgusting.
Were you still willing to have sex with him?
Yes. Yes, I was.
They take it to the bedroom and he flings Cindy on the bed. He goes to remove her bottoms when all of a sudden a bunch of money falls out of her pockets. She goes, "Oh no, my money," and tries to pick it up. He stops her and says, "Oh no, no, you know what that means. If it falls on the bed, it goes in the jar." And he plunks her money into this loose change jar next to the bed. Cindy just made out with his booger mustache, and now this prick is trying to rob her money. So she tells him not to touch her, grabs her things, and says goodbye. She starts rummaging through her pants to see how much money she lost. It was close to $10. So you're saying after being patronized all night, making out with his boogers, it took him physically trying to rob her before she lost interest in having sex with this creep.
Yes. I'm in a weird place right now.
Felt Up is an incredibly rare show that was partially inspired by Crank Yankers and Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. It's mediocre at best, but it's a low-budget indie project, so I'll give it some grace. There's honestly not many redeeming qualities here, and it's nothing but cheap laughs. I suggest you stay away from this one. But if you have a sick, twisted sense of humor like me, you might find some enjoyment here. It's only 6 episodes long, so you could breeze through the whole series in a couple hours. What have you got to lose? I was gonna say drop a like and subscribe, but don't waste your time. This video will more than likely get my channel banned. So just write your goodbyes in the comment section below. Doctor's orders.
Oh, thank you, doctor.
No, I'm not a doctor.
And that's it for today, guys. You already know, if you're still here watching this video, you are my people, man. It's the doctor just reminding you to do what you love, and GBE, get better every day. And that's all from me for today, guys. Once again, I'm the doctor signing out. Gimme my music. I move in the nighttime. Shit, everything I do in the nighttime. Make 1 turn 2 in the nighttime. Zoom from that bright light. Move by my right side. Crew in the spot and it's like 2 o'clock. Wrist never been in cuffs, evident.